Okay, so I kind of had to move all the cabinets out of the way because I am going to run the ledger boards for the wall cabinets, which are just to help install the wall cabinets. I'm just going to tack them up and it'll give a nice level ledge to set the wall cabinet on when we are installing them. So I'm going to work on that now.
We have under cabinet lighting, so Brandon is drilling holes at the bottom of the cabinet so that when we hang the cabinets on the wall, we can pull through the wiring for the under cabinet lighting.
These are going to all be attached to the other cabinets as well, and then those cabinets are all going to be screwed. So it's going to be like one structure.
Brandon, is this the third weekend?
I don't even know.
I think this is the third weekend we've been putting up cabinets, and we're in the bar area right here.
I'm reading the instructions for a dishwasher.
I'm recovering from a cold.
I don't know how to work this thing.
That's what he said.
You act like you're like all healthy, but then you like, you add secondary sweetener. Like, I'm not gonna put any sugar in this recipe, but I'm gonna cover it in jam. What the fudge? Look how fat they are. I can't shim with this. Can't work under these conditions.
Look how thick these shims are. They're supposed to be like paper thin at this end and like go up, and this is like, these are like door stoppers. Car. It's a shim!
The walls in here are all plumbed, but the floor is not perfectly level. From the left side of the bar to the right side of the bar, the floor drops about 3/8 of an inch to 1/2 of an inch. So what we're doing is we're shimming the bottom cabinets in all four corners until, with normal cedar shims, until it's level. Then we're putting a couple screws into the studs at the top of the cabinet to hold it in place. Once the screws are in at the top of the cabinet, then we're pulling out the cedar shims and we're screwing in just some 1x3 pine blocking on the bottom of the cabinet. So this will go on the inside. Yep, on the inside. This will go against the edge of the cabinet, tight to the floor, and then we just pop in a couple screws, 3 screws to be exact, into the side of the cabinet through the block, and it essentially becomes the new foot for the cabinet, and it supports it so that the weight is evenly distributed. Figured that would be better to have the weight across of a big piece rather than just having it, you know, concentrated on a couple shims in each corner of the cabinet. It took us almost an entire day just to do these 3 base cabinets. So we decided to do it a little bit differently for the other group of cabinets where the kitchen sink is going. So before mounting these cabinets in place, I clamped them all together and attached all the faces so that they all form one nice rigid plane, as well as put spacers on the back so that they wouldn't want to wobble back and forth. And this made this one full unit that I'm going to only have to level once before I put it into position versus having to do each cabinet on its own. This is how we did it. It's one solid piece, and then we're just gonna put it into position and level it out. So now I have to prepare the sink cabinet for the sink itself. We are using a Farmhouse style sink that is cast iron. Right now on the base cabinet, right there, there is a cardboard template that came with the sink that represents where the apron of the sink is gonna fall. The instructions for installing the sink actually call out for some reinforcement of the cabinet before you actually put the sink on. I'm gonna use 1x4 pine to frame a ledger on the inside of the cabinet that the sink will actually sit on. So I have all that stuff already cut to length and drilled for the pocket holes that I'm going to use to fasten them. All right, so that frame is installed, and what that's going to do is distribute the weight of the sink across the entire side panel instead of just on the top edge of the plywood. Now I'm going to trim the face of the cabinet so that the apron of the sink can fit. So the cabinet is ready to go for the sink. Maggie just got home from meeting with clients, and we're gonna slide the sink into position.
Effing heavy.
That's our sink.
What? This is so nice. It looks so good.
I'm really happy with it.
Me too. Nice job. Today, Brandon and I are finishing up putting the cabinet doors and the drawers together. If you remember before, the bar behind us is 18 inches deep, and we ordered 24-inch cabinets because that was the most cost-effective way. So Brandon just finished cutting up all the drawer sides and the back so that they all fit, and we're gonna assemble them and put them on. High five. There we go. When Brandon and I finish a project, we like to just sit back, have a drink, and stare at our work.
Admire our work. Cheers. Good work, Brom.
Good work. I was just gonna say that.
Looks good.
Good work.